Ilya Topuria versus Alexander Volkanovski is happening, and just why? Like genuinely, why the fuck is this fight happening? It makes no sense even from like a promoter standpoint. Did you not see what happened in the first one? Like, you think anything's gonna be different? Volkanovski's like 35 years old. I don't think he's completely washed. I'm not gonna say that about Volk. He has faced literally the best fighters in the world that he's lost to. But there's so many other clear options for Ilya Topuria that making a rematch against Volk makes no sense. It does nothing for his legacy. Nobody's interested in that fight because, let's be real, nobody really thinks Volk's gonna fucking beat Ilya Topuria. Not after that fucking Max Holloway performance. You know, and I don't understand this thing that the UFC does where they kind of give these undeserved title shots, but at least if you're gonna give an undeserved title shot, do it for somebody that people are gonna pay to watch. Nobody's gonna pay to watch Volk get knocked out by Ilya Topuria again. They're just not. So I don't even understand why he's getting this undeserved title shot. You know, when you could easily have Volk versus Diego Lopez, and then like Movsar Evloev fight Ilya Topuria, or the other way around. There's just way better ways to do it. But then what happens after he beats Volkanovski? He knocks Volkanovski out, and then who does he fight? Movsar Evloev or Diego Lopez? Are you going to have Diego Lopez and Movsar Evloev fight to see who wins? Then you're just going to hold up the division for no reason. So I think that the Volkanovski versus Ilya Topuria fight, the only reason it's happening is probably because like the UFC is trying to like pay their respects to Volk for all that he's done. You know, he's taken these short notice fights against Islam Makhachev, very respectable by Volk. And I'm not trying to hate on Volk. Okay, we all love Volk. We all love Volk, man. I'm saying this out of love for Volkanovski, man. I know he's gonna lose to Ilya Topuria. I don't want to see that happen. I don't want to see this fight happen. I don't want to see Volk lose, sadly, again. I think you could keep his career alive longer if you just don't have him get brutally knocked out again by Ilya Topuria. You know, maybe give him like a tune-up fight like Diego Lopez. I think he could beat a Diego Lopez. Give him an Arnold Allen. Give him like one of these, you know, not fucking terrifying pound for pound number 2 fighters like Ilya Topuria, you know. But let's get back into like, let's actually break down this fight because I think it's gonna be a little bit different. I think I don't think Ilya Topuria is gonna put Volk out as easy. You know, I was watching the Lucas Tracy versus Volk interview, okay, and I picked up some things. I picked up some things about that Volk was saying about that fight, and I actually believe him. I don't think it's coped by Volk. He said that, you know, the reason he got knocked out, the reason he didn't do as well as he thought, was mentally he was kind of expecting Ilya Topuria. He was afraid of the power of Ilya Topuria. He was worried about not getting knocked out, and he was kind of reacting differently. You know, we all saw he was leaning back with his chin up, kind of like flinching away from getting knocked out. And usually when that, like when people are doing that, they get knocked out, you know, whether like rather than just like actually trying to slip stuff in exchange. Regardless though, I think Ilya Topuria is still going to beat him. I still think he's going to catch a Volkanovski because I think he's the better striker. I just don't think he's going to catch Volkanovski as easily. You know, I still see Volk, like, if Volk comes out quick, if he comes out sharp and snappy, I think he might actually steal a couple rounds, kind of like he did the first round in the first fight. And like he did kind of up until he got knocked out in the second round. But I think it goes wrong when he tries to exchange with Volkanovski in the boxing. I think it's inevitable that he gets caught, especially with the chin of Volk. I don't think it's that as good as Max Holloway, especially after getting knocked out twice brutally. I think it's going to be a tough one, but we know Volk has advantages. We know he has a good jab. He was jabbing up Ilya Topuria's face. Even Max Holloway was jabbing up Ilya Topuria's face. I think the only way Volk could really have great success on the feet is by fighting like Adesanya, basically. Like literally just not exchanging in the hands. The only thing you throw is a jab and you get out of there. And then you pepper him with the low kick, because the low kick was working on Ilya Topuria too. I just think it's kind of like when you're fighting a dude like Ilya Topuria, especially as Volk, you're kind of running into the inevitable. Like you're just going to get knocked out eventually. He's going to find your chin. Like that's what he's doing. Like that's all Ilya Topuria does. That's his game plan. He's a knockout artist. He looks for the knockout. That's his preferred method of winning. And when you're fighting a guy like that, who's obviously going to pressure you, that's another thing. I think Volk is going to get pressured by Ilya Topuria, because he knows Ilya Topuria has the power. He's not going to go into an exchange if that's the way he lost last time. You know, and as for the ground game, I just don't think Volk's going to have much success trying to offensively wrestle against Ilya Topuria. Volk's a great grappler, but more so defensively. I think he looked great against Islam Makhachev because he was defending the takedowns. You know, shooting a takedown and getting takedowns and holding someone down is way different than just defending takedowns and getting back up to your feet. And Volkanovski for that fight, I think he looked so good because he was specifically training for that. He was training in his specifics. You know, I don't think he's just like a generally great grappler to the level of Islam Makhachev. So I don't think he's going to have the clear like option to just take down Ilia Topuria. And I think he's going to be stuck on the feet. I think Volk knows that. I don't think he's going to try to take down Ilia Topuria unless he gets hurt. And I still see, dude, I literally still see a second round, third round knockout by Ilia Topuria. A cold knockout. And the thing that sucks about this is that it was all for nothing. You know what I mean? Like, Ilia Topuria, nobody's going to give Ilia Topuria credit for knocking out Volkanovski again. You know, people, the only thing people are going to say is that Volkanovski's chin was even worse. If they were giving excuses for Volkanovski for losing because he got chinned against Makhachev, what are they going to say this time? They're going to say he got knocked out fucking 2 times in a row and he got knocked out again. He's just chinny. Which wasn't the case. I don't think, you know, if Makhachev didn't knock Volk out, that Volk would be able to take that same punch from Ilia Topuria in their first fight. I think if practically any human in Volk's position ate that punch, they would be fucking sleeping. So yeah, I don't see a world where Volkanovski wins this. I really don't. But let me know what you guys think. Like, how do you see this going? I really just cannot see it going any other way than it kind of did the last fight. If anything, it's going to go worse because Ilia Topuria knows he can hurt Volk. He's not going to be as hesitant to get in an exchange. And I don't think Volk can hurt Ilia Topuria. But let's just think about this. Let's make it a little interesting because we kind of know what's going to happen. What happens if Volk did win? Because there's obviously a possibility it happens. Very slim. But what if Volk wins? Like, what do you even do after that? Like, do you do Volk versus Ilia Topuria 3? I mean, I don't even know what you would do, dude. I think you'd probably do that if you're the UFC. I'm assuming the UFC would do that. Because what are you going to do with Ilia Topuria? I mean, it would just be a weird situation. Like, I feel like the clear option is just Ilia Topuria versus Diego Lopez or Movsar Evloev. Put him up against those 2 dudes. If he beats those 2 dudes, let's talk about a super fight. You know, I want to see the super fight between Islam Makhachev. Okay, and if Islam Makhachev, let's say, in the perfect world, I think actually Islam Makhachev's already moved up to welterweight. If he loses welterweight, he's back down. I think you should give Ilia Topuria the title shot against Makhachev. If Makhachev wins, he's in welterweight. Ilia Topuria moves up to lightweight. I think you either have Oliveira or Sarukian as, you know, champion or interim champion. You have Ilia Topuria fight him for the title. If it's interim champion, then Ilia Topuria, if he wins, he becomes interim champion. Maybe Islam Makhachev comes back down and gets his belt back, and they fight. Or maybe Islam Makhachev stays at welterweight. But that's the way I would see, like, that's the perfect way I would have it play out. And not have, you know, Islam Makhachev fight fucking Oliveira again. And Ilia Topuria fight Volk again. Like, I seriously don't understand what the UFC is hoping to accomplish with this. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you guys like this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one.